Yes,
All
this
right.
is a citation. It was issued on June 1st of this year on 30th Street there in Salem Township, Allen County, state of Michigan. This is a speeding citation on an actual 50 and a 35. However, the officer only wrote you a ticket for going 1 to 5 over. You're here, Mr. DeSmit, on this 1 to 5 over speeder to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation to court as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
I was looking to fight the ticket.
All right. Then the first thing I'm going to have you both do is raise your right hand so I can swear you in. You swear or affirm that any testimony you'd give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, Your Honor.
I do.
All right. Mr. Smith, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the officer. He has the burden to establish to me why he issued you this citation. But then after that, you'll have an opportunity to either ask questions or testify on your own behalf. All right?
All right.
And with that, Deputy Miller, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense and explain the issuing of this citation.
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated on June 1st, 2023 at approximately 12:40 p.m., I was working stationary traffic enforcement in the area of Burnups. This is a posted 35. I was sitting stationary with my vehicle facing northbound. I was just south of 143rd Avenue. It was at this time that I observed a vehicle traveling northbound at a high rate of speed. I then activated my radar in the rear stationary mode, obtained a clocking of 50 in the posted 35-mile-per-hour zone. I then initiated a traffic stop, identified the driver as Mr. Desmond, who's present here today. Speaking with Mr. Desmond, he stated that he's on his way home from playing golf. He was talking to his grandmother on the phone. He indicated that he was speeding, but he did not give a speed as to how fast he's been traveling. In our conversations, he indicated that when he saw the police car, he noticed he was speeding and started to slow down. As a result of this incident, I did issue him citation number SD 19472 for speed. However, I did reduce it substantially off the actual clocking and only wrote him for 40 and a 35. I'm a certified radar operator with the Michigan Speed Task Force. My radar was verified before and after my shift in proper working order. I had a good audio and visual of the vehicle. And then there's no other objects or hindrances that would have thrown off the radar reading. I have nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Mr.
Go ahead. Say that again.
What is it you would like to say?
Okay. First, I'd like to start off by thanking you both for keeping our towns safe, and your efforts in doing so are signs of true leadership and strength. I respect both of you for your positions in the workforce, as they are not an easy role in today's day and age. I have a couple friends in the force too, and I know it's hard. So thank you for your job. What brings me here today, like Officer said, was a speeding ticket that I received on June 1st this year in Allegan County on 30th Ave. After receiving the ticket, complying with the officer's instructions and setting up a date to discuss my case, I had some time to drop a map of the situation and to review the reason for receiving my ticket. So let me try to work this in here a little bit. This took a little bit of time. Can you see this all right?
Yeah, Mr. DeSmit, I'm going to be, it looks like I'm not paying attention to you because I'm looking here at a screen as
Okay.
opposed to looking at the camera because I can see it a lot better. All right, go
For
ahead.
sure. Of course. Officer Miller, can you see that all right too?
Yeah, I did for the screen on the phone, yes.
Okay. All right. In my case, I was heading north onto 30th Street. So this black Explorer, we're going to reference as my Explorer. That's what I had. So that's me. And I was heading north onto 30th Street. I had passed Bunker Hill Chill and Grill and the Marathon gas station on the corner near 142nd, which is down here a bit. And then I entered into a 35-mile-per-hour zone. I am aware of the speed limit in the area as I've been through there multiple times. I'm aware of the area. In my situation, I was driving over the hill on 30th Street. So right about here is when it crescents and you go up, and then right after like about here, it starts to go back downhill. I was maintaining proper speed up until this point. Upon going downhill, I noticed a tan colored car sitting parked on the right shoulder of the road, very close to the lines of the main street. The tan car was facing north, the same direction I was driving. The car didn't have on any lights or turning signals, which in my judgment at the time, I thought someone was either going to get out of the vehicle or it was just parked out in front of a house. With the brown houses and trees in the background, the tan vehicle kind of blended in. So this is the officer's patrol car right here. I just drew that in there. That's to reference that. At the time, I didn't know it was a police officer. Looking ahead into oncoming traffic, I noticed a semi truck with a trailer pulling equipment, which was heading south, which I have marked right here as just a little bigger truck pulling a trailer. In my safe reaction time, it was clear I had two decisions to make. The first choice was to brake, allow the equipment truck to pass, and for me to avoid getting too close to the officer. My second choice was to speed up, go around the parked car with safe distance, not to interfere with incoming traffic, which I labeled kind of right here with the arrow. And then for me to avoid getting too close to the officer and not allowing me to like slam on my brakes because I was already going downhill. Option two is what made the most sense to me at the time, while ensuring the safety of myself and those around me. Before making my decision to accelerate to pass the parked car and avoid oncoming traffic, I believe I was abiding by the speed limit. So that was the decision I did make, was number two, was to speed up and go around the police officer. And then he mentioned that I was braking after I passed him, and that was because I was going back down to the speed limit after making what I thought was the right decision, which made most sense for me at the time. Upon passing the parked tan car, I immediately began to slow back down to the speed limit until I saw the flashing lights in my rear view mirror. I had no idea the tan car was a police officer. By the time I had safely passed the officer, noticed his lights flashing behind me, I was safely able to pull over on the side of the road. Now the shoulder of the road after passing the officer and going through the intersection of 143rd, there is less than 100 yards worth of shoulder, which I have drawn right here. So after going through the intersection and these guardrails start here, before it goes to guardrails only with no shoulder, there's only about like 100 yards worth or less of shoulder. And I was safely able to pull over where I put that X. That's where he stopped me. That's where I safely was able to pull over. I think if I were to be going exceedingly past the speed limit, there's no way that I would have been able to stop there in enough time for him to pull me over safely. In my 5 years of driving, I've never been pulled over once, never been in an accident, and haven't been asked to watch my speed. I take the law seriously. I'm not a reckless driver. I abide by the law and comply with restrictions when they are given. I know as a driver, it's my responsibility for the vehicle I operate, and I believe I have done that to the best of my ability. I know most people would just pay their speeding ticket and move on, but I truly care about keeping a clean record, and I came here today asking politely for relief of my speeding ticket.
Deputy Miller, were you in a marked patrol car?
I was in a marked patrol car, and at the time I was on the shoulder of the road. It was not nowhere near the road where it would have been a road hazard for people to go out into the other lane to go around me.
Yeah. Mr. DeSmit, I understand your explanation. Your explanation, put it this way. Your explanation that essentially a car parked on the side of the road would be a reason why you would need to speed up to hurry up and get past it before somebody coming southbound would have been abreast of you on a 2-lane road. That just does not make a lot of sense. And referring to this car all the time as brown and sort of not realizing it's a police officer car also doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a marked patrol car. We all know what they look like. I also suspect that Deputy Miller's radar actually caught you further back than sort of right when you're trying to go around him. But for purposes of informal hearing, I would find, based upon the evidence, that you were responsible on at least the 1 to 5 over speeder that you were written for. Now, because you had a contested hearing, you do have a right to say, I don't agree with what just happened there. I want to take this to what's called formal hearing in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office. But to do that, you must ask for that in writing, and you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. That opportunity to appeal this closes after that time. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
I do.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and release you. We are all set for what we needed to do here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It would make Penny very happy if you would like, subscribe, and leave us a comment.